1,000 years ago, humans crossed the southern peaks into the Great Peninsula, a continent torn by strife and hatred. It is on this war-torn continent that the human leader, Kval Tantalis, forged a mighty kingdom. And forever since there was peace. Save for the human comrades who were less willing to settle, those who traveled west and formed the Kingdom of Nalia. And disagreements between the two groups continued for the next 1,000 years into the current day. And though the mood is peaceful, one can never be too certain. Hello, Internet. My name is Adam A. Smith, and this is day number 2 of my hashtag Marchus Honus Challenge. Hope you'll forgive me that overly dramatic intro. I wanted to get some lore in to perhaps spice up the video and make things a little more interesting. See if people are interested in that kind of thing. I would hope so, as that is the entire basis of my comic. Anyway, getting that out of the way, we'll head into the update section of this video. But first, I would like to say that the universe seems to have a sense of humor, as today, or perhaps it was the other day, recently, let us say, the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo has dropped. And if you know anything about me whatsoever, you know that that is something I am unbelievably excited for, that I have been waiting for an extremely long time. Of course, the release date for the actual game has been pushed back by a month, and out of the time frame that I literally took a vacation to play it. But I digress. What you're here for is this, well, page and a half of comic that I have actually drawn at the moment. There would be more were it not for the procrastination I was talking about earlier. However, you can probably see the process of how I draw these things. Panel by panel by panel by panel on a single page. This is more or less the way that professionals do it, I'd assume. I've seen it done anyway, or well, on double-scale pages anyway. And it seemed the most logical way to do this. However, there's an issue. That issue is, let us say I'm over here, having drawn this relatively good perspective on how exactly short Garen Soulflame is. I'm actually relatively proud of that, if it not for the fact that that orc is a little out of scale, I believe. But I'll leave it and move on. I have just drawn these two, which I also think went relatively successfully. However, if I mess up this panel, of course I can erase and redraw as much as I can, but if it just is ruined, or if I happen to ruin one of the adjacent panels in drawing it and redrawing it, I'll have to throw out the whole page. And all this work and all this art, which I don't know if I'll be able to reproduce, will be wasted. Perhaps there are things I could do to mitigate that. Perhaps there are ways of eliminating it and, moving on. But there is a solution that was suggested to me by my wonderful wife, Jessie. Some of you may know her. One that I am probably going to undertake for the future of the comic, for the sake of getting it done in a timely fashion. That is, to draw each individual panel, not all on the same sheet, but on separate sheets. Each of these panels will be a separate page that I draw on, and then I will scan them all in individually and lay them out digitally. There are some disadvantages to this, one being just having to use a lot of paper and, a lot of pages to keep track of and scanning them all individually. Also a problem of scaling, wherein if I draw the picture for this big panel, it will be at full size, but the picture for this smaller panel might have to be shrunk down, so the line weight will have a difference, which might be too jarring. Of course I can mitigate this by, knowing my layout ahead of time and sort of drawing to relative appropriate size. Of course, the advantages of this particular method do outweigh the disadvantages. It'll allow me a lot more flexibility and a lot more leeway so that I can make mistakes without having to worry about it ruining an entire page. And also, if a panel doesn't work out, say I had drawn all of this and I decide I want to redo that panel, or that one, or I want to redo this panel, I can simply hot swap them because my layout is all digital. Yes, so that is the way I'm going to go forward. I'm going to draw each of these panels as an individual thing. Just a little bit of insight onto how I'm going to be doing this from now on. Of course, this page I'm going to hand draw because I only have these 3 panels left, and they are going to go as such if I pull out my storyboard here and drop all my other pages on the floor like a professional, and give you a bit of a glimmer into what is going to happen. The city of Tantalus, which I introduced you earlier, a particular pub with a hero board, or a job board more like, odd jobs, and our hero Garen Soulflame taking up a job. That job is to rescue the Princess of Tantalus. That's right, Princess Alana Tantalus, heir apparent and only child of the beloved King Rhaob Tantalus, has gone missing. Except that she hasn't. You see, as the Brilla, the barmaid here, informs Garen, the princess isn't actually missing. Come again? That's right. You see, the king seems to have a bit lost his marbles, and even though the princess is clearly right there, he insists it isn't her. She's been replaced. It's someone else. And even though his advisors seem to be ignoring him, he went ahead and posted a job anyway. He did go and hide himself as an adventurer for a while, as Rhaob was the adventurer of sorts and knows the ways. He snuck out to this bar and several bars around the area and posted this job, Rescue the Princess, by royal decree of King Rhaob himself. Of course, everyone ignored it because everyone else also thinks the king in his advanced years is losing his marbles. Except, of course, our hero, the noble and brave Garen Soulflame, who will definitely save the princess for the king. Is the king actually going insane? Is there something going on here? Is there perhaps less peace in the kingdom than we had thought? All these are questions to be answered in the pages to come. Hopefully. After, of course, we are introduced to Valexi the sorceress, the barbarian, and Gultarin the orc. But I think that will about wrap it up for today, as this is the 3rd time of me attempting to record this video. First 2 times less than successful, and a couple of false starts. The realities of creating videos. However, since my YouTube is set up, I should be able to simply post this video in short order and get to drawing. And then if I have some time later on, playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, and, I don't know, maybe posting a reaction video to that. If not today, probably tomorrow. I'll have a day off here in a couple days. I might take that time to do that kind of thing. If that's the kind of thing you're interested in, stay tuned. Alright, thank you to everyone who has been watching and has supported my early efforts so far. And I apologize for reintroducing myself to YouTube for the sole purpose of shameless self-promotion. Seriously, though, thank you all very much, and I will be sure to thank you personally as soon as I have the time. Anyway, that is me for today, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.